I would like to see those sitting in front of me as the future administrators of India. What we are going to discuss now is what we need to do and what we should not do if we really want to be there as future administrators by clearing the civil service examination. Basically, what are the mistakes that most of the people do when they start to prepare for civil service exam, and some of the important things they miss to do. Okay. So, how do you start with civil service preparation? What will be your focus areas? What to do, when to do, how to do. We'll just focus on what to do now. The foremost thing that most people miss when they start with civil service preparation is the syllabus given by Union Public Service Commission, UPSC. Many people go to different websites, different kind of sources, and kind of understand these are the books to study, these are the topics to study, and all those kind of things. But understanding the syllabus straight from the horse's mouth, that is from the UPSC notification, is imperative for civil service preparation. Understanding syllabus is not just about knowing what to study. Understanding syllabus helps us to write answers, help us to read the right current affairs, help us to choose the right books. In short, we'll be able to define the playground in which we are going to play. If we don't know the boundaries of the playground, we will just play to whatever comes in front of us without proper focus, and that can be detrimental for your preparation. So the first thing you should have to define the boundaries of your preparation is to have the syllabus clearly in your mind. So go to UPSC notification, understand the syllabus. When I say understand the syllabus, differentiate between knowing the syllabus, by-hearting the syllabus versus understanding the syllabus. What does UPSC expect from the aspirants through that syllabus? That is what you should understand from syllabus. Not just by-hearting the line items in the syllabus. Being aware of the syllabus. What is the expectation of UPSC when they have written one particular word or one particular phrase or one particular sentence in the syllabus? That is point number one. Point number two. We will not be able to understand the context of the syllabus if we don't know how UPSC uses that syllabus to ask questions. So point number two is question papers, or understanding the question pattern in the UPSC civil service exam. Now when we say question pattern, prelims question pattern, mains question pattern, and within that, in each paper, how the question comes, in each subject, how the question comes. Once we have gone through the syllabus and we go through the question papers, maybe we'll have to go back to syllabus and see how our understanding about the syllabus is. So actually, going through the question paper is done to understand the syllabus better and also to fine-tune our boundaries to understand what to study and how to study. So go through the question papers, at least last 3 years UPSC question papers, prelims as well as mains, when you start the preparation itself. Most of us, when we would have studied in school or college or anywhere, we would have gone through the question papers, but when is the question? We would have completed covering our portions because it is a fixed textbook that we have to study, fixed notes that we have to study. Then before the exam, just before the exam, we'll practice the previous question papers. In UPSC, it is different. To define your study plan itself, you need to know how the questions come. Okay, so second of the activities that you have to do at the start of preparation itself is understanding the question, to understand the pattern, how the question come, from where the questions come, and relate it to syllabus, to understand the syllabus better and to understand how UPSC utilizes that syllabus to ask the questions. Third point. When I said understanding the syllabus, being aware of the syllabus, understanding the question pattern, I also said it is not about by-hearting it. That is where the third important point comes into picture. The importance of mentors or seniors cannot be stressed more for any other examination like for civil service examination, I would say. There are people who have gone through this journey earlier. Prelims, mains, interview. They would have done all the mistakes. Okay, what I usually say is, learn from the mistakes of others because you will not live long enough to make all of them yourselves. I'll make a small change there. This is usually a management paradigm. But if I customize that to civil service context, you can do it first time right, provided you have the proper guidance. Proper guidance means guidance to understand the syllabus properly, guidance to understand the questions properly, and to define your study strategy and pattern properly. Many of us will be very confident or too confident to say that I know how to read the syllabus, I know how to go through the question papers. Anyway, any mentor will give me the same kind of inputs itself, right? You are mistaken. You are wrong. Trust me, I've gone through this journey. The area in which UPSC is going to ask and the dynamic way in which UPSC changes the questions and how they interpret the syllabus in different ways is actually hugely challenging. That is where the inputs of mentors, the people who have gone through this exam becomes important. I stress again, mentors here means people who have gone through this examination. Why? Because in the start I said there are many myths about civil service examination. Civil service examination is, or at least it is mostly called as IAS examination, is a common man's exam in one sense. Why? Almost everyone that you come across will give you some advice or tip. You have to read 4 newspapers, you have to read 100 books, you have to have IQ level of so and so to prepare for this exam. That is the difference between anybody who just gives some advice and a person who has gone through this experience, who can refine that advice, who can refine that mentoring, who can refine that inputs in the context of changing pattern of the examination and also, more importantly, in your own context. That is where the third point, the importance of having mentors and seniors who have gone through this journey to guide you becomes important. So don't prepare by yourself. It can be a recipe for disaster. Please don't do trial and error method. So as I said earlier, learn from the mistakes of others so that you can get it even first time right for civil service examination. Yes, I mean it. You can clear this in the first attempt itself, provided you have the proper guidance. That is where the third point becomes important. Now fourth, current affairs. What makes UPSC civil service examination dynamic examination is the dynamic content which comes through the current affairs. Especially if you look at the recent trend of examinations, virtually there is nothing which comes directly from the books. If we study in the pattern of when we study in schools or colleges, you study this book, you finish studying this book, you are done with your preparation. There is nothing like that for civil service examination. Most of the concepts, the information, the ideas that we study from books are asked in the examination in the context of current affairs, or the trigger for that question is coming from the current affairs. So regular coverage of current affairs is a must for civil service examination. Regular and consistent. I stress on the word regular and consistent. There are people who try to do like, okay, I will study other subjects every day on a daily basis for my timetable. I will check current affairs 1 month together of 1 month and all those kind of things. I don't think that is the best way to do it. So regular and consistent coverage of current affairs. Now when I say current affairs, one specific point I want to stress here, current affairs is not just about newspaper. Or more importantly, I would say in the recent times, current affairs means Press Information Bureau, PIB updates. PIB, Press Information Bureau updates. along with the newspapers as the basic source. There are many other sources that we can use, but these two sources are a must. All other sources are basically a supplement or a complement to these two sources. So regular coverage of PIB and newspapers, or regular coverage of current affairs. What next? We'll keep on studying these subjects. We'll keep on studying the polity, the geography, the history, all the subjects that come through your way. We keep on studying current affairs regularly. But one thing that people usually miss is the importance of revision. So I usually ask, when does revision start? For most of us, in most of our educational background, our revision starts maybe 1 week before the exam or the day before the exam. If you ask me, when does revision start for civil service examination? If you start studying today, your revisions will start tomorrow. Revision is not another set of things that you just do for the examination. Revision is an ongoing activity in the context of civil service examination. So from day 2 of your preparation, revision is a must. So don't overlook the importance of revision, because there is something which only revision can give you for your preparation. What is next? Selecting the right optional subject. This is one of the biggest mistakes that most people do while starting with the civil service preparation. In recent times, it is comparatively easy because you just have to select one optional subject compared to 2 or 3 in the earlier periods. But selecting that optional subject, which subject you should select should be completely your choice, based on your interest and based on how you see that subject. Please don't do it like last year's rank holder said this subject is good, or one of the IAS officer whom I know said that this subject is good. I'm not saying this subject is good or that subject is good. I'm just saying good and bad is subjective in the context of you. So choose your own optional subject based on the merits of the subject in your own context. Obviously, there will be some other criteria like how the scoring has been for that subject, how the recent trend for that subject has been, and all these things. This is where the third point again comes into picture, and handy and important, proper guidance and mentoring. So have your inputs for optional subject, talk to your mentor, then only finalize the optional subject. Before that, just like that, don't finalize optional subject and just start preparing. Do some work before you finalize the optional subject. Next thing is writing test. Writing test again is an ongoing part of preparation. Now when I say writing test, one of the biggest pitfalls that most people have when they prepare for civil service exam is their focus only lies in the prelims examination till the prelims is over. You need to know the schedule of this examination, how that entire schedule is stacked up. Between prelims and mains, you will roughly get 90 to 100 days only. So the time between prelims and mains is not a good enough time or sufficient time for you to prepare mains completely. And just clearing prelims doesn't make you a rank holder and help you to become future administrator, as I called you at the start of the session. So if you're really serious about being a future administrator, refining your preparation, readjusting your preparation is a must along with the preparation. One part of it will happen in revision and the other part of them should happen in the test. Prelims as well as mains. Prelims objective test and mains writing practice. These two should be integral part of your preparation from the start itself, or at least when you have covered a little bit of portions. So a really good test series or really good question papers, answering the question papers is a must for civil service examination. Now, most importantly, you will do all these things, you have the syllabus in mind, you have the question papers in mind. but what sources do I use? I'm not going to list all the sources here, okay? It is definitely, you will get that input from mentor, or say it will be available in many sources. But one point I would like to stress, which is, please don't try to have lot of books for each and every subject. Minimize your number of sources, number of books for each subject. Be clear about how I will be using that source and how I will be approaching the syllabus using that source. Here also, again, mentoring becomes important. Be sure about taking those inputs from your mentor when you define your book list. I've seen people starting with a book list of 125 plus books, 120 plus books and all. Books, or say multiple kind of sources. But what happens? You end up not covering anything properly. Most of the successful civil service aspirants would tell you, instead of reading 100 books once, it is better to read one book 100 times. Please remember this mantra when you define your book list for preparation. Okay, so we've gone through the syllabus, the question paper, the inputs of mentoring, the test, the questions, the pattern, optional subject and all these things. Now these are some general inputs, right? Most importantly, if you are a good aspirant, don't forget one thing, that you are unique. There is nobody else in this world. There was nobody else in this world, and there will never be another person in this world like you, exactly like you. What does that mean? Your preparation strategy, your methods should be uniquely catered to your requirement. How much ever a particular method is good for some other person, maybe he has got a rank or something else, he is a very high IQ person, he is a very experienced person, but that particular method might not be best suited for you. So don't forget your uniqueness. So one of the basic mantras that I would like to give you to stress on is, be yourself to be the future administrator for civil service examination. Be yourself in your methods. Be yourself in your answering. Be yourself in your scheduling. Be yourself in your time management. Don't be a copycat. UPSC exam carries weightage for originality and your uniqueness. They are looking for you, not for some other person. So be yourself. Remember the other things that I said. I think you will have a good start for your civil service preparation.